He also made reference to issues around corruption because people are talking about him fighting grand corruption perpetrated by the political class. And his response, which is what I want you to speak to, was, you can't eradicate corruption, you can minimize it. And he's saying, I'm doing it already. LG autonomy, wage increase for civil servants, and a couple of other things he mentioned, rather than some of the grand things they want him to do. In your assessment, is that aggressive enough to deter bad behavior or people who pilfer or literally put their hands in the cookie jar?
Yeah, you see, when a new leader takes over office and he is being confronted with these huge socio-economic challenges, he has to balance his actions. One of which is that there are many things that happened before he came into office, which borders on the sabotage on the economy, corruption, and the obfuscation of the economy of the nation by the former elements of the former government. So if he now concentrates on probing the past administration, he will have little time for him to plant and establish his own legacy. So when you find yourself in this position, especially with a nation facing these critical issues like ours, you still have to go backwards and see how public funds that were looted can be recovered. And I think they have been doing that with what has happened in the CBN the last time. But when one of the panelists, Umar Farouk, questioned him about the looting, the mismanagement of security and defense forces under the Buhari administration, which he needs to probe, I think he made it clear that he is more interested in moving forward than moving backward. So it's a bit contradictory. You can move backwards in CBN, but you can't move backwards in security. So that is a bit contradictory. So, but I believe that what should have been is the fact that if he is being provided with evidence that shows that there are clear cases of corruption, he will move to recover public funds. That is what the answer is supposed to be. But if you say that whatever happened in the past has gone, it's more like rewarding opacity and larceny, and which he has done by saying he's not going to go backward. So to me, I think what is most important now is that he should be held responsible for what has happened under his government. He has economic reforms. He has started. There are a lot of pains Nigerians are suffering. But it is a fact all over the world and in history, economic reforms have never been a popular thing with the citizens. It happened with Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, Sukarno in Indonesia, Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia, and Brazil and Argentina has passed through all these things here. So people should hold him, since he has repeatedly said that this is in the best interest of Nigeria. Let us see. But he knew that if at the end of the day, the fruit of these reforms are not visible, are not being reaped, then he will be consigned like another leader.
All right, Senator.
But for the first time, we have a leader who is ready to take the heat for today in the interests of tomorrow.
Yeah, Senator, apparently everybody could see that he's quite brave with his decision. Whether they are right or wrong, he stands by what he says. And a lot of people have commended him for that. But there's one more thing I would like you to speak to before we wind down, which has to do with the issue of this tax reform and the argument around VAT. He had mentioned that no matter what you do, people will always argue. And he said he doesn't mind cutting edges. If you were to sit down with him and tell him a way forward as far as this reform and VAT element is concerned, as somebody from the core north, what will it be to navigate this part and get this bill passed?
Well, to me, there is so much politics in this bill than actually the content of those papers. There were 4 bills before the National Assembly. One of Nigerian tax bill, Nigerian tax administration bill, the joint tax board bill, and then the Nigerian Revenue Service bill. These are the 4 bills. But when you see the debate and discussions going on, people don't even know what the content of that bill is. Either some have already a political mindset, they are opposed to it, or certain that this is another opportunity to get at the president and the government, let's bring it down. But I will have loved, if anybody is going to discuss this bill, to discuss it based on its merits and demerits and backed by facts as far as the content and clauses of this bill is concerned. But that is not the issue. But as a president, Nigeria is a democracy. If you bring a bill before the National Assembly, the discourse, the debate, the conversation will not simply be by members of National Assembly. That's why we're a democracy. People express their opinion. But if you look at it generally, that bill is in the best interest of Nigerians. Most of the issues ascribed to that bill are completely false and misleading. But the point is that if there are contentious issues, as some are raising it, especially from my own part of the country, that can be tabled and then discussed. But I'm not happy when I see people elected as senators, they're running away from discussing it. Some are even afraid of expressing their opinion because of fear of mob. And I wonder how I can be in National Assembly without standing there and speaking truth to power as far as the issue is concerned. There are issues that are beneficial to Nigeria, to the economy of this country, to the common man. These are issues we should discuss. But it's been so colored and spiced in politics to the point that the ordinary man is told that this bill is against a part of the country and government is attempting to raise raise taxes. And when you see this kind of misinformation, you know it's leading to something. So to me, I believe that this bill should be passed, but the contentious aspect of it should be debated. And I had the president say he's ready to cut the edges and discuss it. And I think that is in the best interest of Nigeria. Let's discuss. Bill is not cannot be passed by diktat, cannot be passed by the president. It has to be debated and then discussed.
Senator, we must thank you so much. The luxury of time is what we really don't have. But we must thank you for coming through, Senator Sani, former member representing Kaduna Central in the Senate. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. We appreciate it. And compliments of the season.
Thank you.